The bright lights of the Hollywood studio beamed down like artificial suns, casting a golden glow over the stage where four couples sat with hearts racing and smiles fixed. This was more than just a television production, it was a grand stage for the celebration of new beginnings. The air was thick with the scent of hairspray, nervous energy, and the electric hum of cameras ready to capture every flicker of emotion. From the heart of Hollywood, the announcer's voice boomed, welcoming the world to the Newlyweds game. One by one, the couples were introduced to the cheering audience, each representing a different chapter of matrimonial bliss. There were Krista and Dustin Hoffman, who had shared 16 months of life together. Following them were Maddie and Ira Chapman, 10.5 months into their journey. Then came Tina and Kevin Feeney, the youngest pair with only 3.5 months of marriage, and finally, Malika and Ray Davis, who had reached their 1-year anniversary. The star of the show, Bob Eubanks, stepped into the spotlight with an easy grace that only years of experience could bring. His smile was warm, his demeanor welcoming, like an old friend invited to a family dinner. He greeted the couples with genuine enthusiasm, his eyes sparkling with the promise of the fun to come. He explained the rules with clarity, ensuring that everyone understood the stakes: 5 points for every matching answer, leading up to the ultimate prize of a fabulous second honeymoon in a tropical paradise. The atmosphere was light and joyous as the ladies were escorted to a soundproof room. This separation was the first step in the game of predictions, a test of how well these husbands truly knew the women they had promised to cherish forever. Bob turned his attention to the gentlemen, his voice lowering to a conspiratorial tone. He started with a question that probed the past and the present: which would their wives say was true? Did the husband look more like her ex-boyfriend, or did she look more like his ex-girlfriend? Ray Davis was the first to speak. He answered with a playful confidence, suggesting that since his wife had a history of dating less attractive men, he must be the one who looked like his own ex-girlfriend. It was a moment of light-hearted vanity that earned a chuckle from the crowd. Kevin Feeney followed, though his answer came with a twist of irony. His wife apparently resembled his ex-girlfriend because they had once been best friends. The studio audience groaned in mock sympathy, envisioning the awkward conversations that might follow. Ira Chapman, the eldest among the men, navigated the question with a thoughtful pause. He eventually decided that he likely resembled one of his wife's former flames more than she resembled his. Dustin Hoffman rounded out the first round by agreeing with the majority sentiment that his wife was the one who mirrored a past love. The game moved from physical appearances to the intimate spaces of their homes. Bob asked the men to imagine which foreign country their living room most resembled. It was a question designed to reveal the personality of their shared environments. Kevin, perhaps still feeling the sting of his previous answer, joked that his living room was like Iran because it was a constant state of chaos and mess. The audience roared, and Bob couldn't help but admire a man who could laugh at his own domestic struggles. Ira struggled with the geography of his home, initially suggesting Europe as a whole before settling on Japan. Dustin chose Germany, perhaps envisioning a sense of order and precision, while Ray settled on South Africa. These answers were more than just labels. They were reflections of how these men perceived the sanctuary they were building with their wives. The final 5-point question turned toward the physical, but Bob kept the tone respectful and humorous. He asked the men to complete a sentence about what would make their wives even sexier, focusing on what should wiggle more and what should wiggle less. Ira suggested his wife's body should wiggle more, specifically her back, while her hands should be still. Dustin and Ray offered their own playful interpretations, involving different parts of the anatomy and even the movement of hair. Kevin, ever the comedian, suggested his wife's back should wiggle more while her tummy remained still. As the show broke for messages, the screen filled with the practicalities of everyday life. There were stories of auto-protection plans from Endurance, reminding viewers that while love is beautiful, the machinery of life requires care. Mechanics spoke of the peace of mind that comes with knowing unexpected breakdowns won't lead to financial ruin. Then, the focus shifted to the golden years, with Go Medicare offering guidance on benefits that could add security to a senior's life. These interlopes served as a reminder that the couples on stage were part of a larger world, one filled with responsibilities and the need for foresight. When the show returned, the ladies were brought back to the stage, their faces filled with curiosity and a touch of apprehension. Bob welcomed them back, his voice full of the secrets he now shared with their husbands. The moment of truth had arrived. The first question about ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends led to a series of reveals. Krista was surprised to find that Dustin thought she looked like his ex, while she believed he looked like hers. Maddie and Ira found themselves at odds as well, with Ira predicting she looked like his ex, while she firmly denied any resemblance. Tina and Kevin, however, found a rare moment of alignment, both agreeing that she was the one who mirrored the past. Malika and Ray also found a match, though it came with the humorous realization that Ray's past was a bit more crowded than his wife might have liked. The living room geography proved to be a more difficult terrain to navigate. Maddie thought of Germany, while Ira had predicted Japan. Tina also chose Germany, but Kevin had labeled their home as Iran, a discrepancy that led to a playful exchange about the state of their decor. Malika and Ray were also out of sync, with her choosing Germany and him choosing South Africa. Only Krista and Dustin found harmony in this round, both agreeing that their living room had a distinctly German feel. The final part of the first half dealt with the wiggle question. Tina and Kevin found perfect alignment, both mentioning the back and the tummy. Malika and Ray were slightly off, as were Maddie and Ira. Krista and Dustin, however, continued their winning streak, matching their answers about the chest and the back. It was a moment of high energy, with the couples laughing and teasing each other, the points on the board reflecting their growing understanding of one another. The show paused again, this time bringing news from the Medicare Benefits Hotline and Med4Home. These segments highlighted the importance of health and well-being, offering solutions for those with breathing difficulties and ensuring that seniors received the benefits they earned. It was a quiet moment of reflection before the game moved into its final, high-stakes phase. In the second half, the roles were reversed. The men were secluded, and the women were asked to predict their husbands' responses. The points were now worth 10, and the tension in the room began to rise, though the spirit of the game remained light. Bob asked who was more on the prowl when they first met. Tina confidently claimed it was Kevin, while Maddie and Krista admitted that they were the ones doing the hunting. Malika shared a story of how she had been the one constantly calling and visiting Ray's house, a testament to her determination. The next question was a bit more daring. Which part of the husband's body didn't seem to go with the rest? Krista pointed to Dustin's hair, which she felt had a life of its own. Malika described Ray's feet as ugly, nasty, and big, a description that was more affectionate than it sounded. Tina also chose feet, but for a different reason. She thought Kevin had nice feet on a skinny body. Maddie was more direct, pointing to Ira's stomach. The final bonus question worth 25 points was a simple one. The last time the husband ate potatoes, were they mashed, baked, fried, or something else? This was the decider, the question that would determine who would fly across the sea to Barbados. As the men returned, the scores were tight. Ira and Maddie were looking for their first major points, while the others were vying for the lead. The on-the-prowl question led to some hilarious debates. Ira claimed he was the one looking, while Maddie insisted she was the predator. Kevin and Tina had a spirited argument about who was chasing whom, with Kevin claiming he was scared to even kiss her while she insisted he was at her house every day. Ray and Malika also found themselves in a disagreement over a high school letter that Ray claimed he had sent, a detail Malika had long forgotten. Dustin and Krista, however, remained a united front, with Dustin jokingly describing Krista as a tiger on a baby deer. The body part question brought more laughter. Ray guessed his head, only to be corrected by Malika's ugly feet comment. Dustin guessed his belly, but Krista stood by her observation about his hair. Ira and Maddie found a rare match with the stomach, leading to a sweet, if slightly awkward, kiss on the cheek. Kevin guessed his chest hair, but Tina's answer about his feet left him baffled. Finally, the potato question arrived. Ray guessed fried, but Malika had said mashed. Ira also guessed mashed, but Maddie had remembered them being fried. Kevin and Tina found their second match of the night with baked potatoes, momentarily taking the lead. But it was Dustin and Krista who sealed their fate. Dustin, with the confidence of a man who knew his wife's every preference, guessed fried. Krista's card revealed the same answer. The studio erupted in cheers as Dustin and Krista Hoffman were declared the grand prize winners. They were going to Barbados, to the Almond Beach resorts, where the sun, the sea, and the romance would wait for them. It was a fitting end to a day filled with laughter, small revelations, and the enduring power of love. Bob Eubanks signed off with his signature warmth, thanking the couples and the audience. As the cameras stopped rolling and the lights began to dim, the four couples walked off stage, not just as contestants, but as partners who had shared a unique experience. They had laughed at their differences, celebrated their connections, and reminded everyone watching that marriage, at its heart, is a beautiful, sometimes messy, but always rewarding game of discovery. The journey of love continued, and for one lucky couple, it was about to take them to the shores of a Caribbean paradise.